Hello team, welcome to your movement flow video. Today we're going to do a bit more on the lats and the shoulders. So we're actually going to start off needing a roller of some sort. So we come to the floor, we're going to go into that lat position. Instead of rolling up and down as much, I want you to try and find bits that are a little bit tight, a little bit sore, a little bit sensitive, and you're going to move over it as opposed to up and down it. You can move up and down, but I feel like you get a bit more kind of specific release when you go forward and back. So this is a rumble roll, it's got some bits in it. You can use like a ball. Something smaller actually can be quite nice because you can get into some positions that are probably a bit harder. Once you find a little spot, you can either stay there, take a few breaths, or you can create some internal and external rotation, but just kind of play around, find a few bits. The lats can often be a bit overpowered, can be a bit overtrained in some ways, and pull that scapula down so it doesn't actually get up and around that rib cage that easily. A mentor of mine is a big advocate of making sure that our shoulder is kind of functioning in the right way, and one of the things that most people can get some good change is using or opening up the lat or switch sides to allow the scapula to get up and around, and you get a bit more flexion through the shoulder. So if you had a bit of time, you can do a bit of a test, retest. If you do all of these things on one side first, and then have a little feel of how it feels relative to the other side, or just kind of move your arms up and down before you start, or have a little look in the mirror and see if that overhead position feels any better than some other positions. So same thing, we can move around, find some spots. I'd recommend at least a couple minutes. I'll only do about 90 seconds here. So if you have a bit more time, I would spend a bit more time. You can come all the way down the side of the body. You'll know when you feel slight sensitive spots. Like I said, a roller or a ball, smaller cross ball is fine as well. And you can move through some positions. If you want to, you can get into that slightly extended position and move around. Ooh. My left lat's a bit sore. Cool, so like I said, the ball I quite like is right underneath kind of the armpit area, right behind scapula, right behind the shoulder, kind of posterior delt area. Cool, after we do that, we're going to use the roller. You don't have to use the roller. This one's got like bits and rumble bits on it, so it's not as good. If you've got a flat one, we're going to put it roughly where the wrist is. They're kind of like a wall slide, but on the floor. We're going to push and then drop. So we feel this length all the way down the side of the body. Push and drop. And then you can buy some external rotation, so that thumb going up towards the sky to encourage that nice external, that opening of the shoulder and pulling back. So I'm kind of moving and reaching across, allow the shoulder to kind of move quite naturally. If you don't have a roller, maybe a gym, maybe you have a ball, this works well too. I'll do it on the other side so you can see it better, that you can just push and drop. This one will be a bit nicer because it's a bit higher, so you've got a bit more space to kind of move in. You can use a smaller ball like I was using over there. This works quite well if you want to move through them. Otherwise, the roller works too. If you don't have one, you can obviously just move without, just kind of use the friction of the floor. If you have a roller, you can obviously move up and over and around, up and over and around. Do it with a few more. Great, I'm going to go across the body now. So I'm going to move through, you're tucking under in this kind of thread the needle type situation. I'm going to come through. You can kind of do it actively by pushing, or you can kind of passively drop your ear towards the floor, create this nice twist position, pushing down slightly. You can push into this hand and create a little more rotation. So going kind of sideways across the body, reaching round and through. We're just going to pause and create a little bit of time here. Pushing into the hand slightly to create a little bit of tension and relax. Try and reach through a bit more. Push in
Alright, so you can click this hand forward if that feels more comfortable. For me, this is probably a bit too much of an aggressive position. It kind of gets into like an 8 out of 10 in terms of uncomfortableness. So I probably put my hand further back over here. We'll go to the other side. I'll show you from this angle. So we're going to come round and through, bending the elbow, creating that movement, creating that twist. Play around with the position, play around with your hips, whatever feels like you're getting into some positions you maybe don't normally get into. That's kind of where we want to be. Reaching around, keep breathing. Over, through. We'll push into the back of the hand, twisting, rotating. I quite like thinking about looking underneath my armpit to create a little bit more of a twist, a little more tension in the shoulder, and slowly come out. This one I quite like because it's quite difficult to get, that kind of external rotation of the shoulder. There's plenty of variations you can do here. You just grab some kind of brick or something or a book, you can use it to create a little more external rotation in the shoulder. So you're going to kind of keep your elbows relatively close together and you're just going to drop down towards the ground. So by holding the brick, it forces the hands to stay out. So we're creating a bit of external rotation in the shoulder, and by pulling down or driving our elbows into the floor, we can bias that position. This is great for the front rack position. So you're going to go into kind of front squat work or holding the bar in here because we're trying to encourage that external rotation of that shoulder. So down, squeezing into the brick. You can hold it, you can twist the hands around and have it in a fist, and that will bias a little more. And just pushing down, trying to push our chest towards the floor. I quite like thinking your chin towards the ground. You can bias on one side by shifting to the left and shifting to the right. And just sink down. Good, we'll just come like that. So last thing, we're just going to open up the front of the shoulders as well, because it's just nice to get into that anterior when we've done so much posterior work. So what I want you to do is put your hand behind you, fingertips kind of wide, fingers pointing away from you, and just lift up and take a big deep breath. If you can't feel it kind of in the chest or down the arm, all you're going to do is just shimmy the bum up, slide it a bit further away, and then put it back down. But you should be able to feel it, especially if you push into the hands and take a big deep breath. And just everything relax. Don't be too passive here, so don't just relax everything. Try and actually pull your shoulder blades back together, be big in the chest, push into the fingertips, and you should feel it all the way along the arm as well as into the front of the chest. And if you don't, like I said, just lift your bum up, slide it a bit further away, keep your chest tall, take a big deep breath. Try not to shrug into the ears, try and pull back, and you should feel that. Good, we'll be here for another 20, 30 seconds or so, and this will be our last position. So this is a great prep for the shoulder, or a great kind of opener after you've maybe done a lot, especially if you've done a lot of pull-ups, or you've done a lot of press work. It's nice to kind of restore some of that shoulder position and actually, you know, encourage recovery and kind of correct posture of those muscles and get that scapula moving nicely. Cool. Thanks for joining me today. Let me know if you have any questions.